Tonight, praying for protection.
Putting that 9-foot fence with barbed wire would deter, more visitors.
A North End church asked the city for fortress-level protections, why their plea for help may fall on deaf ears. Also tonight, a bill for bail.
I don't know that that is going to be something that is going to pass constitutional muster.
Ontario proposes suspects pay cash up front before they're allowed out on bail. Will Manitoba follow that lead? Plus, a Merry Christmas for tree sellers. Why demand may be down for real Christmas trees this year.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A North End church wanting to put up a 9-foot fence with barbed wire has been told no by the city. St. John Cantius Church on Burroughs Avenue is having issues with trespassers and vandals and says the fence is needed to protect its elderly parishioners and students. But city planners rejected the proposal, so the church is appealing. Live with the latest on this back and forth is CTV's Jeff Keel. So, Jeff, what is the issue with the fence?
Yeah, the planners say it's just not compatible with the neighborhood, that it would create a fortress-like appearance. Erilee Naig lives across from the St. John Cantius Church on Burroughs Avenue. She also occasionally attends.
We see a lot of our neighbors go there. There's a few not even from the neighborhood that would come by and visit the church.
Unfortunately, she's seen some unwelcome activity on the church grounds.
I've seen a few people, you can tell they're under the influence, just cutting through or making troubles. And then I've seen a few occasions where police are called.
According to a report at City Hall, the church has problems with trespassing and vandalism. CTV News has also been told there is drug use on the site. A fire was lit in a garbage bin, and someone even climbed on the roof. So the church wants to build a 9-foot chain-link fence on all sides of the property with barbed wire on top. This rendering shows 3 strands of barbed wire. But the city's planning department rejected the proposal, saying fence heights are limited in residential areas to keep sightlines and promote a sense of community. The fence height is incompatible with other residential properties on the block. Aesthetically, a fence of this height with barbed wire gives the property a fortress-like appearance. The church is appealing the decision. In a letter, Pastor Yolanda Gamallo wants to know what minimum modification the city will allow to protect their elderly and vulnerable parishioners, as well as 222 catechism students from intoxicated, knife-brandishing, arson-threatening trespassers, vandals, thieves, and campers. He asks for kind consideration towards their appeal. Erilee Naig understands why the church wants the fence, but she says it's a bit much.
I feel like putting that 9-foot fence with barbed wire would deter, more visitors thinking, okay, this is probably not a safe area. That's why they put that up.
The church also says that it does have support from some area neighbors and others. The appeal is set for this Friday, the 28th.
Jeff, can the church build another type of fence?
Possibly. The city report says that there were other options presented to the church, but they declined it. In his letter, the pastor says the only option they were given was an ornamental fence, and they say they just can't afford that. All
right, thanks for this, Jeff. A 67-year-old woman has died after being hit by a car in Osborne Village last week. It happened Friday afternoon around 1:20 at the intersection of Osborne Street and Roslyn Road. Police say the woman was crossing Osborne when she was hit by a 2014 Ford Fusion traveling westbound on Roslyn. She was taken to hospital in stable condition but has since died. The 32-year-old man driving the vehicle remained at the scene. Anyone who witnessed the crash is asked to contact Winnipeg Police Traffic Division. This was the 9th fatal motor vehicle collision involving a pedestrian this year. As governments grapple for new ways to address bail reform across the country, Ontario is set to table a bill which would require those accused of a crime to pay their bail up front in cash. And while some Manitoba lawyers are concerned about this, the Justice Minister says he's willing to look at good ideas if they work for Manitoba. With more on this, CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now live. Harrison, how does bail work right now in Ontario and here in Manitoba?
Merely right now, people who are released on bail with a promise to pay do not have to come up with money unless they breach their conditions and a court orders it. Under the Ontario bill, cash will be required up front before a person is released.
We're coming forward again with bold, innovative, and practical solutions to enhance our public safety.
Ontario's Attorney General says a bill will be tabled that will change the way offenders access bail in that province. Instead of paying after the conditions are breached, they will be required to pay up front as a cash security deposit. The move is eliciting reaction here in Manitoba.
Are we suggesting that someone who can't afford to pay this is more likely to be compliant with bail than someone who can't afford to pay it? And if they can't afford to pay it, do they then get essentially denied release? Is that what is going to happen?
Legal Aid Manitoba Executive Director Peter Kingsley says it's important to remember people on bail are innocent in the eyes of the law.
They are not guilty until they are proven by a judge to be guilty. So they will be sitting in custody. The province will be paying for that. The taxpayers will be paying for that.
Both men say the bill may even be unconstitutional. They cited the 2017 Supreme Court of Canada case, which says cash bail should be relied only in exceptional circumstances, and even when it is used, it should be a, quote, readily available amount for the accused or surety. CTV News talked with Manitoba's Justice Minister Monday and asked if this is something Manitoba would consider, and the minister says it's much too early to comment without knowing the specifics. He did not shut down the idea.
We're willing to take good ideas where they exist, but our focus is always on Manitoba and what's best and what's right for Manitobans.
Minister Wiebe also added that the current bail reform bill before the House of Commons reflects some of the specific asks from Manitoba.
Harrison, did the Ontario government explain why it wants this bill?
Well, Doug Downey, the Attorney General of Ontario, says it will improve compliance and it will keep violent repeat offenders behind bars, putting the safety of innocent people first.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. Christmas party season is just around the corner, and that's worrying the people at Operation Red Nose. The Safe Ride organization is facing a critical shortage of drivers.
Okay, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Right now, Operation Red Nose has fewer than 200 volunteers signed up, and officials say they need at least 600 volunteers in order to run smoothly. They had hoped to reach that goal by this Friday. Each year, Operation Red Nose provides safe rides home, keeping impaired drivers off the road. But without enough volunteers, that critical work is at risk.
It's actually critical that we get things going right away because there's also a process with a volunteer. We need to do some background work and make sure that all their licenses are good. And there's all sorts of little things that we need to do. So we do need some time to get people up and running. Plus, there's some training that has to happen if you've never volunteered before. So the sooner people can sign up, the better.
Operation Red Nose needs drivers and dispatchers and says shifts are flexible. You can help out by going to rednosewinnipeg.ca. Well, it feels like we've been experiencing a much warmer than normal November. And according to Environment Canada, it isn't just your imagination. Meteorologist Shannon Moody says typically an Arctic ridge will bring a lot of cold air through the prairies, but so far Winnipeg has not experienced that. As a result, Moody says Winnipeg is seeing less snow than usual for this time of year, and we've also been enjoying above average temperatures. Winnipeg's usual high is -5 degrees Celsius, but this year it's been much warmer. Which is why Colleen Brady is one of my favorite people these days.
There you go.
Lots of time for snow, people.
That's right.
It's in the forecast. So.
Well, it is for parts of the province. Not for Winnipeg. It doesn't look like it yet. It'll come close, but it doesn't look like it will come here. But I should also point out, Shannon Moody with Environment Canada also mentioned that Arctic ridge. Usually it would come further south and it would draw down that colder Arctic air. But if you think about it, there's been a number of low pressure systems that have gone through northern Manitoba, and that has wrapped in air from the south that's been milder, and we've been in the midst of that milder air. So we've had these mild temperatures. that produced records yesterday, some pretty impressive records too. I will show you which communities, or at least some of them, set some weather records. There were too many to mention, but a lot of folks saw double-digit highs yesterday. More on that and the temperatures for the rest of the week, which won't be as warm, but still above normal, at least to start. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, -4, winds out of the northwest at 12 kilometers an hour. Rising pressure, and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 89%.
Thanks, Colleen. The transformation of the former Bay building has passed a major milestone.
The atrium is open up, and now we're looking at the skylight of the building and getting that completed.
The Southern Chiefs organization says more than 1,300 concrete blocks have now been removed from what will become the building's atrium. You can see how much work's been done in this video SCO posted to social media showing the hollowed out space. Grand Chief Jerry Daniels says crews will now shift their focus to building a glass skylight for the 6-story structure.
And I think people are pretty excited that we're at this point within the project, and that things are, you can kind of see that we're progressing quite nicely. And so I don't think that we've seen any real serious hiccups along the way. And yeah, we're excited about the next phase.
The atrium will be a focal point for the redevelopment, which will include affordable housing units, office and retail space, along with a daycare. SCO expects the project, which has a $310 million budget, to be completed in 2028. With Christmas Eve now just a month away, Winnipeg businesses are taking stock of their Christmas trees. And for those wanting to trim, there's no shortage this year. In fact, demand is down. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has more on this tree trend.
A chainsaw levels off the base of this pine tree at Ron Paul Garden Center. It will soon be covered with ornaments and tinsel in a customer's house. Ray Dubois, the center's owner, has been watching consumer demand for real trees go down since the COVID-19 pandemic.
They had extra money because they couldn't go on trips, so let's make it a real Christmas, right? So we saw our peak then. Since that time, though, it has dropped off, and it's kind of leveled out now.
Dubois says the pandemic caused a surge in tree supply as tree farms adjusted to keep up with demand. He says it takes several years for those trees to hit the market. Now that the trees have arrived, Dubois has no shortage of supply.
We're in that 5 to 7 year sweet spot. So now this year we were contacted by tree farms asking if we needed trees, which is a first for me since like 2015.
Last year, Dubois said he gave away 400 Christmas trees at the end of the season based on decreased demand. He says existing tariffs and tension with the U.S. is also driving down sales.
A producer out of Nova Scotia was saying that his tree sales into the United States have completely vanished.
However, that hasn't slowed tree sales everywhere locally. Just down the street at St. Mary's Nursery Garden Center, owner Carla Hertzina says while the price of Christmas trees have gone up, real tree enthusiasts have kept up the demand.
The people that are coming in looking for fresh cut trees, they are an adamant fresh cut tree person, and they are still finding some good selections of trees that are out there.
The owners say only time will tell how many trees will be left at the end of the season. Back at Ron Paul, Mike Herman and his wife Giselle are committed to fresh trees. They say it's a must-need for their holiday season.
We've never not had a real tree.
We've always had a real tree.
So now we have a combination. We have one fake, one real.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Christmas?
Yeah. It makes Christmas real.
Christmas is gotta have a tree.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A water main break that disrupted operations at a Winnipeg hospital over the weekend has been repaired. The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority says the water main break at Seven Oaks Hospital was repaired late last night. Hospital staff realized there had been a water main break Saturday after flooding was discovered around 10 that evening. A full water shutdown of the hospital took place so repairs could be made. Officials say work is now underway to fully restore all of the services at the hospital. The federal government is providing funds to the province to help improve access to health services in French.
The Government of Canada recognizes this and is working to ensure that Canadians are able to receive health services they need in the official languages of their choice.
The money will help collect data on patient language preferences and the languages spoken by the province's healthcare workforce. A virtual health initiative will also be launched to provide services in French for francophones living in rural and remote regions. The province will receive just over $2.1 million over the next 4 years as part of the announcement. Winnipeg's Jamaican community is coming together to support recovery efforts after Hurricane Melissa devastated parts of Jamaica last month. Jamaica Strong was hosted by the Jamaican Association of Manitoba and the Honorary Consul of Jamaica in Winnipeg. The hurricane made landfall in late October, causing landslides, fallen trees, and widespread power outages. The fundraiser aimed to help families rebuild after the disaster. The event featured Caribbean cuisine, live performances, and support from local organizations.
Some locations in Jamaica don't have electricity still, don't have internet, are having access problems to food and water. So I think the fact that we can do something like this to bring everybody together to make sure that we're helping those who we can is really important. I think that's what Winnipeg is really known for, giving back and coming together as a community.
Only monetary donations are being accepted due to shipping issues. Contributions can still be made through the Jamaican Association of Manitoba's website.
We've made substantial progress today. It was the best day we have had in our entire 10 months of working on these issues.
New hope for an end to the war in Ukraine, why the initial U.S. proposal was panned, and how allies want the deal to be amended.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Taking a look at the markets tonight, oil is up 33 cents a barrel. The Canadian dollar is down modestly. Gold rose $9 an ounce. The TSX ended the trading day up 341 points. The Dow Jones is up nearly 300 points, while the Nasdaq gained more than 500 points. A White House-backed peace plan for Ukraine is being discussed in Geneva. President Trump has urged Kyiv to accept the terms, although critics say the 28-point plan is heavily weighted towards the Kremlin. Alice Barr has the latest.
President Trump on social media this morning suggesting that something good may be happening regarding the peace talks to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, but he cautioned, don't believe it until you see it. The president's post follows a hastily organized high-stakes meeting on Sunday between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Geneva on a proposed peace deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war.
We've made substantial progress today. It was the best day we have had in our entire 10 months of working on these issues.
Negotiators are working to revise a peace plan offered by the U.S., a plan that would have handed over more Ukrainian territory to Russia and slashed the Ukrainian military in half. The deal would also require Ukraine to promise it will never join NATO.
It is very good news that this framework is being revised. It was very much pro-Russia the way it was drafted.
President Trump had threatened to cut off all U.S. military support and intelligence sharing unless Ukraine agreed to a deal, according to a Ukrainian official, demanding it be done by Thursday. But that deadline appears to be pushed back, with both the U.S. and Ukraine saying differences have been narrowed. Ukrainian negotiators now on their way back home to brief President Zelensky.
Right now, we are at a critical moment, and we are working closely with the United States, with European partners, with many others to define steps that can end Russia's war against us.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin overnight striking Kharkiv. In video circulating online, a flash of light and a loud blast as Russian drones hit the city. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle were criticizing the plan before the revisions. One Republican said he would advise Ukraine not to sign on, and a Democrat called it Putin's plan. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Federal indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James have been dismissed. A judge ruled Monday the prosecutor who brought the cases, former Trump attorney Lindsay Halligan, was not lawfully appointed. She was appointed at President Donald Trump's direction after a previous U.S. attorney refused to indict Comey and James. Both pleaded not guilty. Well, as Canada looks to open up new markets, there's word tonight Ottawa and Alberta will soon announce a deal to build a pipeline to carry Alberta oil to the BC coast.
I would say that we have been negotiating with the feds for a while. I've been very frank about that. And we've been going back and forth almost daily for probably the better part of the last 2 weeks. And I really hope that we will have an agreement ready and available to be released soon.
The proposed pipeline has created considerable tension between Alberta and British Columbia. BC Premier David Eby believes the quest for a new pipeline should not proceed before first pumping more crude oil through the existing Trans Mountain pipeline. However, former Alberta Premier Jason Kenney says that move wouldn't be enough to attract major new capital to oil sands projects. Canada's health minister says close to 6 million Canadians are now covered under the Canada Dental Care Plan. And Ottawa is pumping $35 million more to help fund that program. The government says more than 27,000 oral health providers are participating in the Canadian Dental Care Plan. It estimates the program is saving eligible Canadians an average of $800 per year. A person snorkeling in BC's Lynn Canyon Park had a more exciting outing than they bargained for. You can see the man in the water in this video before he appears to run into some trouble and was swept down into the creek. It happened just before noon Sunday. North Vancouver firefighters rushed to the scene and were able to get the man to shore. Authorities say heavy rainfall has made the water fast-flowing and dangerous. More than 30 million people in India's capital of New Delhi are fighting through incredibly poor air quality. Check this out. That is not fog, it's smog blanketing the city and obscuring the skyline. The air quality index was recorded as high as 396, meaning potential health problems are a serious concern. When the temperature dips, the cold air traps emissions from vehicles, construction sites, and crop burning, pushing pollution levels higher. More Canadians are turning to artificial intelligence to help them with their holiday shopping this year. A survey from Shopify found 64% of people polled indicated they will use AI for at least one shopping task this holiday season. For Gen Z shoppers, which covers people between the ages of 18 and 24, that number rose to 84%. A gold pocket watch recovered from a man who died on the Titanic was auctioned off over the weekend for more than $2 million. That's the highest price ever for a piece of Titanic memorabilia. The watch was recovered from the body of Isidore Strauss. He went down with the ship alongside his wife of 41 years, Ida Strauss, after they refused to separate. Isidore Strauss was a partner in New York's iconic Macy's department store. The couple were among the few first-class passengers to perish on the Titanic. The 18-karat Jules Jurgensen watch was engraved and had been given to Strauss for his 43rd birthday. The watch remained in the Strauss family for more than a century before this weekend's auction.
I get all kinds of stuff, anything and everything that you could possibly think of.
Including something right out of the X-Files, how decades of UFO research was found in Vancouver and how you can get your hands on it.
And after this long run of unseasonably mild temperatures, we'll get closer to normal this week. Normal for Winnipeg now is -5 for a daytime high. We'll be slightly above that on Wednesday, -3 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. And then we get back to normal. Thursday, Friday, -5 degrees for highs both days with considerable sunshine, especially Thursday. The weekend, similar, -6 on Saturday, -8 on Sunday. But take a look at those overnight lows as they drop off. Sunday night, the overnight low into Monday, -17.
5 Manitoba curling teams are competing in Halifax this week, and the stakes couldn't be bigger. The tournament winners will represent Canada at February's Winter Olympic Games in Italy. It was an all-Manitoba matchup on the women's side this afternoon, with Carrie Anerson's rink picking up a 6-4 win over Caitlin Laws and company. Team Anerson remains undefeated at the tournament and sits at the top of the round-robin standings. Laws fell 2-2 with the loss, while St. Adolph's Kate Cameron is still hunting for her first win. Meantime, Matt Dunstone is now 3-0 in round-robin play. He's battling Brad Gushu's rink as we speak for the top spot on the men's side. The other men's team from Manitoba, led by Jordan McDonald, is also on the ice looking for its first win. The tournament runs through the week, and the finals are slated for Sunday.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Colleen Brady back now with more on some snow she's tracking.
Some snow, yeah, that's to come. But let's take a look at the records that were set in Manitoba yesterday. There was at least 18 communities across the province, as far north as Norway House, that set new weather records. But I picked these 10 because these were the ones that reached double-digit highs. Starting with Winnipeg, 10.3 degrees, easily beating the previous record set back in 1942. Couple things to point out. 1942 was clearly a warm year. A lot of records were broken that had held for many years going back to 1942. But take a look at Portage La Prairie, folks. Almost 14 degrees there yesterday. You have to go back 135 years to the previous record of 10.6 degrees. Pretty remarkable stuff. But now, as I showed you a couple of minutes ago with the long-range forecast, temperatures are about to get back to normal for this week. It's been a good long run, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. But if you're looking for cooler air, well, that's on the way, along with a little bit of snow. It's starting to fall already, or it has been this afternoon in the southwest corner, but there's more where that came from. This is a system that isn't going to impact Manitoba too much. Some southern Manitoba areas, yes, we'll see some snow tonight, but the bulk of the system is going to slide off into North Dakota and then pop back up in the Thunder Bay area in northwestern Ontario. But again, if you are in those areas, particularly closer to the international border, you can see how fast this is moving along. That snow is going to zip on pretty quickly for you as well. As we go through the next couple of days, we'll get back to some sunshine, but not until we get to Wednesday. So for tonight, we'll see the clouds increase. We drop down to -4, but still -4 is milder than our normal high for this time of year. Just keep that in mind. Winds out of the northeast at 10 kilometers an hour. Temperature's not going to move all that much. -2 is our afternoon high temperature. In the morning, there's a low, maybe even a slight chance of snow just grazing Winnipeg on the northern flank of that system as it passes along. It's more the winds that will be more impactful for us. Winds will pick up in the afternoon out of the north at 20 with some wind gusts as strong as 40 kilometers an hour. Light snow tonight in Churchill, dropping down to -9. Gillam, Island Lake, and Thompson, cloudy. Thompson drops down to -8. That light snow continues in Churchill with a high of -6 degrees. The clouds hang around Gillam, Island Lake, highs of -5 and -4. Thompson also -5 and cloudy for your Tuesday. Across the northwest on this Monday night, cloudy or increasingly so around the region. Overnight lows between -7 and -8 degrees. Pretty consistent there. Clouds hang around for your Tuesday. Daytime highs between -4 and -6. Further south into southwestern Manitoba, Brandon and Neepawa, you might get again grazed by a little bit of that snow on the northern flank of that system as it passes by. Down to -5 tonight in Brandon. Dauphin -6, cloudy. That snow shouldn't make its way as far north as your community. Swan River, a few clouds tonight. It will get cloudier overnight down to -6 there. Brandon, Neepawa, perhaps a little bit of light snow taking you into Tuesday morning. Then you'll see more sunshine with a high of -3. Dauphin also a high of -3 degrees for Tuesday. Winnipeg in the southeast, there's the possibility of a little bit of snow catching you in Portage La Prairie, Morden and Winkler, those areas down to -4 and -2 respectively. Winnipeg down to -4, -2 tomorrow in the city. Cloudy here. A little bit of light snow as that system pushes further off to the east for areas outside of Winnipeg. Partly cloudy tonight in northwestern Ontario between -3 and -6 degrees. And then again, that system moves into northwestern Ontario, bringing a little bit of light snow there, but most of it will fall closer to Thunder Bay. Our first weather photo takes us out to Riding Mount National Park, and you can barely see the water, but it's still open water there, Karen says, with these unseasonably mild conditions continuing. And from a national park to a provincial park, Duck Mountain, we take a look out onto the water there. That photo is from Dawn. Send us your pics to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Is there intelligent life out there among the stars? Some people believe the truth is out there and perhaps not as far away as you might think. Decades worth of research into UFOs and extraterrestrials is currently sitting in a Vancouver warehouse. CTV's Andrew Johnson has more on how it ended up there and what's inside.
All right. This is the UFO haven, I guess.
Jeff Schwartz has seen a lot in his 40 years in the liquidation business, but nothing quite as unusual as this.
I get all kinds of stuff. Anything and everything that you could possibly think of. Getting something like this, I would say it's probably in the top one, if not the top one.
The Paranormal collection comes from California and a guy by the name of Chris Wyatt, who produced multiple documentaries on UFOs and alien encounters.
Became Hollywood's de facto UFO producer in the mid to late 90s.
He spent years gathering evidence, declassified government documents, and recording testimonials.
Also included in the auction, this, and it's not your normal family photo album. Inside, photographs captured over decades all over the world, alleged UFO sightings long before the era of Photoshop.
You can see fighter jets chasing some of these UFOs.
The centerpiece comes from Roswell Air Force Base in New Mexico, where the alleged remains of a UFO and its alien crew were taken in 1947 after a crash. It's a yearbook detailing who worked at the base at the time. Wyatt says all copies were confiscated, but a former officer approached him with one he'd saved.
This gentleman was in an oxygen tank. He said, "I don't have long to live. This is my prized possession, and I think you're the guy to own it."
Wyatt has now left his film career behind and hopes the collection is bought next month by a production company interested in investigating further. The Vancouver sellers say it sparked a lot of discussion on close encounters in the city that provided the setting for the X-Files.
I've talked to a few people, and everybody seems to kind of have a story.
Maybe the truth is right here. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
You're sitting there thinking, I'm gonna die.
Seeking a second opinion, why a Winnipeg man had to go to 2 hospitals to have his heart attack treated. We are now in the home stretch of our Hero in You campaign, a month-long effort to encourage you to donate blood and help us fill every available blood donation appointment in the month of November. We spent a lot of time this month sharing stories of those in our community whose lives have been saved or changed for the better after receiving donated blood. And the thing about giving blood is it gives back. Tonight, we are highlighting how donating blood also improves the lives of donors. In fact, my guests have built a 45-plus-year friendship around it. Ray Clement and Reed Winstone have been donating blood for more than 4 decades, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it all started going together as university students.
That's correct. They had the very first donations. They had the RH Institute on campus, and we would go there. They would pay us for a blood donation because they were doing research on it or creating vaccines. I'm not sure which. But it was neat to get the money and then hit the bar after. So it.
We don't recommend that, by the way.
Then it became a
donate first.
Then it became a donation challenge between the Faculty of Engineering and the Faculty of Agriculture.
Yeah, and you did have a pretty good running competition. Yeah. Tell us a bit about it, Ray.
Well, it started before we were trying to get to 100 first, and quite frankly, I was ahead of Reed to start with. I think I was at 98.
He's not agreeing to this.
But to start, you were 6.
Anyway, what happened was I did eventually end up with some oral cancer, which was not of a serious nature, relatively speaking, but I had to stop for a considerable amount of time, and of course, Reed jumped ahead of me, and the rest is history.
It is pretty impressive regardless of where your tallies are at, because Ray, you are healthy, you've made a full recovery, and you are back donating together. What are your current tallies of donations at?
I just gave my 445th, but switching to platelets was a big advantage.
Yeah, you can do that every couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm at 106.
So you've surpassed your 100 mark.
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer, and somebody holds that over me, but...
We won't mention any names.
We won't mention any names.
All right, Reed, tell me a bit about your switch to platelets, because you did this when Ray couldn't join you anymore.
Well, we used to make a big deal about going for blood donations. We'd go for lunch. Teamwork is a wonderful way to build the commitment to go. And then when Ray quit coming, I went, well, okay, the incentive plan's a little bit more difficult. These guys over here, what are they doing? They're sitting in chairs for longer than a regular donation. They went, well, they're donating platelets. And well, what would you like? Do you want to donate platelets? Sure. What would you like most? So they moved me to the platelet program. And then you get to where your donation becomes a little more intimate. You spend time with much fewer nurses. but it is a little bit longer. So, and you feel like you're making a regular contribution. So,
did it hit a little different knowing somebody on the receiving end personally, your good friend?
Yes, knowing that a variety of people, what you find is most people don't talk about the transfusions they get. They talk about the cancer treatment or the knee surgery or this or that, but they don't mention the fact that they had a transfusion. It is a lot more prevalent than people are led to believe. Cancer treatment is #1 reason for blood transfusion.
What do you? I know you guys are like to give a little digs and compete with each other a lot. It's an endearing part of your friendship. But tell me what it was like to know that Ray kind of picked up for you when you couldn't. He was doing double duty. What did that mean to you?
It was impressive that he just kept going, because it was always, okay, I'm going on such and such a date, and if you, it's almost like a marriage in a way, where if your spouse doesn't support what you're doing, it's hard to continue doing what you're doing. So with Reed, it was very much, okay, you're doing the right thing, I will come back when I have time. And so that was encouragement for me to continue going when I had the opportunity again. 45-plus year friendship. A lot of people aren't as fortunate as you two are to have that. Do you think the bond, or that time you committed to blood donation, has put your friendship on a different level?
It certainly has helped. If for no other reason, it's a reason to get together regularly. You can often just have your friendship simmer, where you don't see each other for months at a time. Well, hey, every 8 weeks you could go give blood together. So it was an excuse to ensure that you maintain contact.
An excuses we could all use a little more in today's busy world, right?
Yes, a healthy reason.
The funny part of that was, my wife would say, well, bring this over to Arla, Reed's wife. While you're there, we would donate, we would talk, we would go for lunch. You'd get home. Did you give it to Reed? No, I forgot.
You forget to.
Same on the other side.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being part of our Hero in You campaign and sharing your stories. It's very inspiring and a good reminder to all of us to grab a friend.
Thank you for hosting it. It's much appreciated on that vantage point.
Well, an honor for me.
That's fun.
We only have 6 days left in this month's Hero in You campaign, and we still need to fill 69 blood donation appointments. So take Reed and Ray as an example and grab a friend. Book an appointment to donate blood online at blood.ca or on the Give Blood app. You can also call 1-888-2DONATE and make an appointment over the phone. And make sure you take a photo in front of the CTV Hero in You banner when you donate, and we will share it on our website and on our Hero in You photo gallery up on our website. A Winnipeg man says he wasn't being treated properly at the first hospital he went to, so he left and went to a different one, all while having a heart attack. Now doctors are warning similar situations are happening more often. CTV's Alex Carpa reports.
Yeah, this is what my heart looked like.
Heymana Romana was experiencing terrible chest pain on July 10th, 2022.
I can't describe it. You're sweating, your hands, you can feel yourself drifting off because of the pain so severe.
He went to Winnipeg's Health Sciences Centre, where he was triaged and told to wait in the emergency room. But after 2 hours, his pain kept getting worse, and he says no one came to help him.
You're sitting there thinking, I'm going to die.
He realized he couldn't wait any longer and left to get help elsewhere. Within 15 minutes of arriving at another hospital, doctors told him he was having a STEMI heart attack, a blockage in a coronary artery, and needed immediate treatment.
The surgeons and the doctors down at St. Boniface Hospital saved my life.
Shared Health, which runs Manitoba's largest hospital, says patients get scored based on their symptoms when they arrive in the ER. This score determines how often they should be reassessed. Romana says he required checks every 15 minutes, but claims that did not happen.
This is becoming more and more of an issue.
In an ideal situation, cardiologists advise a patient with a STEMI should have their artery opened up within 90 minutes.
People can misdiagnose these, people can make mistakes, these sorts of things happen, but a STEMI is really one of the, small number of situations where that person should be taken to the angiography theater immediately.
Romana has had a tough couple of years. He says his heart now only pumps between 35 to 40%, which has put him in heart failure.
Once upon a time, I could, ride my bike 20K, run 5K. I can't do anything that.
He has since filed several complaints against the hospital and hopes his story will shed light on ongoing issues in the ER. Alex Carper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Yoplait is recalling some of its products in Canada due to the possible presence of pieces of plastic in yogurt. The affected products are on the Canadian Food Inspection Agency's website and include all Yop 200 milliliter drinkable yogurt flavors. A number of multi-packs of the products are also covered by the recall. The products include all best before dates up to January 12th. The company says no other Yoplait products are on the list. Well, they've been touted as a cure for anxiety and sleepless nights, but the science behind weighted blankets may not be as solid as the claims about them. Companies promoting weighted blankets promise calm nights and better sleep for everyone. Filled with glass beads or plastic pellets, they use deep pressure stimulation to mimic a comforting hug. Research suggests the blankets may be beneficial for people with diagnosed mental health conditions, but for the healthy, many of the studies lack quality data, offering little proof sleeping under a weighted blanket can help someone who's casually anxious. Weighted blankets are generally safe to use unless you have a condition like asthma or claustrophobia.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
The CTV Spotlight is next. Going gaga for the Goo Goo Dolls when the band will be performing in Winnipeg and why a new generation of fans may be looking for tickets.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute.
The Goo Goo Dolls first gained widespread fame in the 90s with their song Iris. A new generation has discovered the song on TikTok. Now both generations can see them in person when they come to Winnipeg for a show. Iris is the hit song that keeps on rolling for the Goo Goo Dolls. It's been certified diamond in sales and has now accumulated over 5 billion streams to date. The band is going to be embarking on a cross-Canada tour that will bring them to Winnipeg on March 28th, where they will perform at Canada Life Centre. Tickets for the show go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through livenation.com. The world of reggae music has lost a pioneer. Jimmy Cliff has died at the age of 81. Cliff may be best known to audiences outside Jamaica for his role in the 1972 film The Harder They Come. Its soundtrack, which included several performances by Cliff, helped introduce reggae to a global audience. According to Cliff's family, he died following a bout of pneumonia after suffering a seizure. Actor and musician Donald Glover is revealing he suffered a stroke last year before canceling his world tour.
So when we went to Houston, I went to the hospital. And the doctor was like, you had a stroke.
Glover shared the details of his health scare on stage this weekend at a music festival in Los Angeles. He also revealed the stroke led doctors to discover a hole in his heart. Glover says he was sorry to let fans down, but has been recovering after 2 surgeries in the past year. Wicked for Good is conjuring up some magic at the box office. It earned more than its predecessor in its debut.
What have you done to me?
Studio estimates say the new movie earned $150 million in its first days in North American theaters and $226 million globally. The conclusion to the story is now the biggest opening ever for a Broadway musical adaptation and the second biggest debut of the year. Now You See Me, Now You Don't was second at the box office this weekend, followed by Predator, Badlands. Your primetime lineup kicks off with St. Denis Medical at 7. At 7:30, there's more Rye comedy on Stumble. The Voice starts at 8, and The Weakest Link is on at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Here on board, how Winnipeg transit drivers are helping ensure everyone has a Merry Christmas.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
-4 degrees right now, partly cloudy. Winds from the northwest at 12 kilometers an hour. Don't forget the wind chill. How could you? It feels like -8. Well, a 9 degrees spread in air temperatures between our lowest temperature today, -5, and our highest 4 degrees. The normal high for this time of year is -5, to give you some perspective. Still very mild. Down to -4 tonight, increasing clouds. -2 Tuesday, not a lot of movement in the temperature, low chance of snow, and then sunshine the rest of the week, but temperatures stay below freezing.
Thanks, Colleen. Holiday cheer rolled up to a restaurant in Winnipeg Saturday on board a Heritage Transit bus. The Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1505 hosted its second annual Fill-A-Bus event outside Four Crowns Restaurant. Union members loaded up the bus with toys, food, and cash donations, all in support of the Christmas Cheer Board.
Our members are in the community every day, seeing people that unfortunately have less, struggling to get by, can't pay the full fare because they got to put food on the table. So we are very committed to helping anybody out, whether you're trying to get to work, trying to get groceries, or an event such as this that will provide that need that so many people need right now.
ATU Local 1505 says it raised more than $5,500 Saturday, gathered about 500 pounds of food, and collected 386 toys. Of course, the Christmas Cheer Board is still accepting donations. You can check out its website to see how you can help out families this holiday season. And a lot of families definitely needing help this year, maybe more than ever. So if you can help, please do. That does it for us tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow.